talked about.
I'm not sure what he was referring to, but you can check with his team on that. Okay? Michelle?
So you're saying as far as excellent goes is talking about a smooth transition and having a good tone. I mean, that's all that excellent means in that.
Well, I think when you consider the profound differences between the two gentlemen, when you consider the fact that they've never met before in person, and when you consider the high priority that the president places on a smooth and effective transition, I think that qualifies as excellent.
And I mean, Donald Trump mentioned that this was originally supposed to only last 10 to 15 minutes. Is that true? And why would it go on so much longer than that?
The president had allotted more time on his schedule for that meeting than just 10 to 15 minutes, but they did end up spending about 90 minutes talking about a range of issues, including what I described to Josh earlier. And I think that would be an indication of a pretty robust, valuable meeting.
So yesterday you talked about the president still having deep concerns, obviously, and that everything he said on the campaign trail about Donald Trump was true. Mm-hmm. This meeting, I mean, considering all of that, it was a brief meeting. Did it do anything to assuage any of those deep concerns?
Well, listen, as I mentioned yesterday, the president campaigned vigorously across the country, making a forceful case in favor of the candidate that he supported. And he did that right up to the night before Election Day. But on Election Day, the ballots were counted, and the American people decided. The president was never in a position to choose his successor. The American people chose his successor. The president vowed to work with whomever the American people chose. So no, they did not recreate some sort of presidential debate in the Oval Office today. They were focused on doing the work of the American people, fulfilling their institutional responsibilities. And on President Obama's part, that means laying the groundwork so that the incoming president-elect can hit the ground running. After all, as President Obama said in the Rose Garden yesterday, we're all rooting for his success when it comes to uniting and leading this country.
So the president still has those deep concerns then, is what you're saying?
What I'm saying is that the forceful case that the president made on the campaign trail leading up to Election Day reflected his authentic views about the stakes of the election and about the candidate that he went all in to support.
And so obviously there was nothing in this meeting that would change any of that.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is that the meeting was not convened to try to resolve the variety of concerns that President Obama had raised on the campaign trail. The meeting was focused on the transition, and it went well.
Okay, and lastly, given that some of Trump's advisors have, just prior to this meeting, talked about looking for all of the ways or wanting a list of all of the ways that they could roll President Obama's policies back starting on day one. Does the president fully expect that to happen?
Well, listen, I'm not going to prejudge what their transition process is. Obviously, our goal is to make sure that the incoming president-elect can hit the ground running and can enjoy success when it comes to uniting and leading the country. That's what the president promised yesterday. Convening a meeting in the Oval Office today is part of making good on that promise. How they choose to use the time and what priorities they choose to set for the earliest days of the Trump presidency is something that you'll have to ask them.
What does the president expect to happen, though?
I think the president's expectation is, is that the incoming president will set his own priorities and pursue them accordingly. And again, our goal is to provide them the kind of advice that would give the president-elect and his team the opportunity to succeed in uniting and leading the country. That's what he has indicated that he has made his priority, and we certainly are prepared to do everything we can over the next 71 days to support him in that effort.
Well, does the president now have any reason to believe that Donald Trump is fit to be president of the United States?
Again, I'm not going to, the two men did not relitigate their differences in the Oval Office, and we talked about them quite a bit in here leading up to the election, and we're on to the next phase now. All right, Justin.
You mentioned the formal process, and so I guess I wanted to ask.